Hi, I'm Tim, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today we're discussing a watch launched back in 2010. This is the Karl F. Bucherer Patravi EvoTec Power Reserve. It's definitely more than a power reserve, however. In stainless steel, this sizable watch is 43 millimeters in diameter. It's 14.1 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, 53.7 millimeters with a 24 millimeter spacing between the lugs. This watch would wear acceptably on a wrist of my size or larger. My wrist is 16 centimeters circumference. I can wear it, but if your wrist is any smaller, you're going to want a different Karl F. Bucherer. This is for 16 centimeters circumference and up. Now, it's not super thick. It'll fit underneath the jacket cuff. It's sound for that application, just not the tightest of dress sleeves. The watch is well equipped with a strap that's unique to the model. As you can see, anything but a standard strap. It has a little bit of tumble home from side to side up through the center, and a rather closely spaced set of contrasting white stitches inside a center channel. You can see that it has been bolstered to give it a little bit of volume. There's a contrasting binding stitch, and then the edges are shear cut to show the layers of leather. No perforations. I'll show you why in a moment. Red calfskin on the bottom, a brand new Karl F. Bucherer strap, and then we have a buckle, Bucherer branded externally, satinated with some polished highlights for contrast, twin trigger release so this heavy watch can't fly open accidentally, and then there's a crimping system. This is how you actually size this up. Many brands use this type of system because it's super clean. You tuck the strap in, you crimp it, and once it's closed and sized, all that extra length fits underneath the strap, so there's no need for minder loops and it becomes a very clean look. Rolling over the case, you can see that screws and bars are used to hold the strap to the case, and it's the real thing too. It's not symbolic. Screws and bars give you more security than spring bars. Slower to swap straps, yes, and more expensive to make, but this watch is worth it. And because it is large and expensive and heavy, you're happy to have those screws and bars there. The case is complex. It's got a crown guard structure and a screw-down crown. It's 50 meters water resistant, and with a screw-down crown, that does make the watch surface swimmable. You're just going to want to put it on a water-resistant strap before you do that. And again, the spacing for that strap is 24 millimeters. You can see there's a couple of different finishes on the case, mostly polished, but we've also got some satin on the lug hoods, as well as the crown shoulders, and then the bezel itself. And then there's even a little bit of media blasting on the crown. Note that the crown guards are actually screw fixed, so they can be replaced if gouged. There's a little bit of a seam line between the lugs and the case. It's all of one piece, but breaking the lugs out separately minimizes the sheer mass of this case flank, which would otherwise be quite overpowering. If you take a look, you can see that the sapphire is actually cambered from end to end, which is not cheap to do. The bezel's mostly satinated. It's polished outboard, satinated on its top, and then the inner flange adjacent to the sapphire is polished. The dial is a sort of anthracite metallic sunburst. So silver gray, it's got a sunburst grain. We have polished rhodium plated faceted applique indices. We also have a lovely applique frame for the power reserve. There is loom. We'll take a look at the loom now. This is a very sporty watch, as you can see. The Patravi collection at Karl F. Bucherer is the sports watch collection. The Bucherer brand has been around since the 1880s, based out of Lucerne, but Karl F. Bucherer as a watch brand was only rebooted and relaunched in 2001. Now, they bought a company called THA out of Saint Croix, which was founded by Vianney Halter, F.P. Journe, and Denis Flageolet, and it was an outfit that would provide you with watches and movements white labels, so you could put your name on them. And they did development for a lot of high-end manufacturers and brands that are watch brands, but they also built watches and movements for retailers that wanted to brand watches. Well, Karl F. Bucherer bought THA in 2007, so they insourced all of that knowledge and capability, and that's where this watch comes from. You can see the power reserve is one of several complications on this dial. First, we've got a hacking seconds function, which is always nice. If you want to set the watch to a reference time, hacking allows you to stop the seconds hand and do that. You can see we also have a quick set system, a double-digit date, and then when we turn the crown in the opposite direction, we can change the day as well. So a double quick set for the day and the date. And then if you want to manually wind the watch, there's a power reserve indicator. Power reserve's 55 hours. It's not necessary because the watch is automatic winding. And on the reverse side, we see how. This is the CFB A1000, part of the small and slowly growing world of peripheral rotor automatics. They're expensive to make and difficult to execute. That's why you rarely see them, but they give you a more beautiful open case back, and they help to thin out the watch since the winding bridge and the rotor don't have to be stacked on top of the movement. Now, it's very expensive to make this, and CEO of Karl F. Bucherer, Sasha Mori, actually told me back at Basel World 2016 that initially they lost money on all of these because of the complexity of designing and executing it. I actually like that from a customer standpoint. You can see the Bucherer logo on top of the ratchet wheel. You can also see that there's a combination of beveling here, satination, and recesses with media blast plus polished screws. The finish is comparable to what you'll see on a JLC, Zenith, Glasuta Original, that sort of watch, which means quite good, in fact. Mostly mechanical, but quite good and handsome. Now, part of the expense of making this work is first the peripheral rotor system, but you can also see that they created a unique push-me, pull-you style micrometric regulation system that allows you to easily adjust to the rate as well as beat error. It beats away at 6 beats per second or 21,600 vibrations per hour, and it pivots on 33 joules. It is a very distinctive techno-industrial aesthetic and a very cool movement technically. I love everything about this watch. Just remember, you need the wrist for it. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.